All right, so we are live, and I have with me to unbox today G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Firefly. Let's go ahead and turn that light on. There we go. So, yeah, Firefly. This is actually the second version of Firefly they put out in this line. The first one they put out was a Target exclusive, part of that Cobra Island subset. Unlike the figure that I really wanted from that line, which was Beachhead, I actually did see this one at Target and passed on it, the Cobra Island Firefly, because I just wasn't that impressed with it. Like, I wanted a Firefly that was more like the vintage figure, and this one, I think, looks like it hit the sweet spot. Unfortunately, I've been hearing rumors about this figure and reports that some of his joints are really loose. But I guess we're gonna find out when we open him up. How about that? So yeah, I passed on that Cobra Island Firefly. That looks much more like the Firefly that I would have wanted, and I would have scooped that one up immediately. But yeah, the one figure that I really wanted from that Cobra Island series was Beachhead. Never found him at retail. I was able to get him online eventually when they re-released it online, but was never able to find it in person. And I was never able to find the Cobra Island Viper or the Cobra Island Cobra Trooper. Like really, basically the ones that I would have actually bought. I never saw those, but I did see lots of that Roadblock, which I eventually did buy at a deep discount when I found it online. And I've bought several more of them for customs that I found at Burlington Coat Factory. So they released that one en masse, I guess, but not so much the other figures. So, and I never saw the Baroness on the motorcycle, but I probably wouldn't have bought that anyway because I wasn't really impressed with the motorcycle. And I figured eventually they would release the Baroness separately, which they did. Oh, well, let's go ahead and look at some of the artwork here. So there we got a picture of Firefly. He's got those funky night vision goggles on. There's I already showed you the back, but there's a layout of the accessories and some close-ups of some details of the figure. There's the QR code, which one day I'll try the QR code, but still haven't gotten around to yet. And we already looked at that. So let's go ahead and take this stuff out of the box. And here we got the Foot Locker. It says Firefly, figure number 84, and it's not taped like the Sergeant Slaughter one was that I opened the other day. And there is Firefly himself. That's what he looks like in the box. And he's got those damnable rubber tabs. So let's go ahead and get those off of him. Might as well get that out of the way. Well, I know where my X-Acto knife is. They just did his legs and his arms. Hopefully. Because I don't see one around his torso, and I don't want to have to go hunting for it. And looky there. Loosey-goosey. Okay. But let's try out the rest of his articulation. So his arms rotate all the way around. His arms feel kind of loose. The butterfly joints are really loose. At least this one's like ridiculously loose, and this one's like a little loose. He definitely has an ab crunch. His head, you can look up about that far, look down about that far, of course, rotate all the way around, get some decent side-to-side motion there, so that's good. He does have a bicep swivel. That one seems to be snug. And he's got double jointed elbows, which this elbow joint is ridiculously tight, but I was able to get it anyway. But that is the range of motion at the elbows. And he has wrists that rotate all the way around. The left wrist has a horizontal joint, and the right wrist also has a horizontal joint, which is really snug right now, unfortunately. I wish that I could transfer some of the snugness from... Oh, no, wait, that is vertical. Well, I almost broke it then. So, yeah, he's got a vertical joint on the right hand, but it is still a really tight joint, like a ridiculously tight joint. If only I could transfer some of the tightness from this wrist joint into this torso joint. But unfortunately, action figures don't work that way. Now, there are ways that you can tighten up loose joints, at least when they become loose. Like you can put like furniture polish in there, get yourself a syringe and inject some furniture polish in there. So I might try that, but I don't know. I think that might be like more of a structural thing, so I don't know if that's necessarily going to work. But I might try it. It might not be worth it might be worth giving it a shot. So his legs move up about that far, about 90 degrees, and then you got the double jointed knees, and again that joint is nice and firm. So there's about the range of motion on the knees. He does have a thigh cut, so the thigh rotates all the way around. He does have a boot cut. So the boot rotates all the way around. And then he's got the rocker ankles. Ankles point down about that far and point up about that far. So not the best as far as pointing up, but probably enough. So and then of course since they're the rocker ankles, they swivel around that way. So that's cool. All right. So then we've had a good look at our figure. He's got some this joint is pretty stiff too. This elbow joint. Man, why are the elbows so stiff, but the torso is like all loosey goosey like that? Yeah, hopefully, if they use this mold for anything again in the future, they can tighten that up somehow. It's too bad about him. Maybe they'll do a re-release after they fix it. That would probably be good. I wouldn't mind buying Firefly again if it had like a tighter joint. I could probably use this one for a custom or something. So, or maybe he would become like some kind of rare variant. They did a nice job with the head sculpt. Got the funky diabolic type eyebrows going on there. So lots of good job with the camo. He's got like a light gray base with some dark gray over it. Looks very much like the old action figure. Only this is the sharper tampographed on camo rather than the old where they just kind of airbrushed it on. So let's go ahead and look at his accessories now. Open that up. And this little thing that I never read. Some kind of legal mumbo jumbo, probably. I don't care about. So here is his backpack. And it does look fairly similar to the backpack that the original Firefly came with. It's got the same vague sort of shape to it, but it is quite different if you examine it closely, because instead of a toolbox, it's got like this very large bomb on it. So there's that. If you want a more accurate backpack, like accurate to the vintage figure for your Firefly, there is on Cults 3D, or not Cults 3D, you can probably find it on Cults too, but it's on Thingiverse.com. Go to Thingiverse.com and you can find a Firefly backpack on there that's basically like the guy made a scaled up version of the original Firefly backpack. So that's probably worth printing out if you got a 3D printer. Even if you like this backpack, and this is a pretty cool backpack, if you want one that's a little more accurate, like as an alternate, it's probably worth having. So then he's got this little remote control car, and the wheels are articulated, but they don't seem like they're very freewheeling. So I guess technically you could roll it around on the ground, but it's probably gonna more slide than as you roll. This is where you want the joints to be loose, Hasbro, not the torso. So it's a little remote control car, and it's got like a little bomb attached to it. So lots of wires and stuff. So is this bomb removable? I wonder if this bomb is removable. It doesn't seem to be. I think it's sculpted on as like one solid piece. All right, so let's see what else we got in here. Got a mine. This isn't yours, it's mine. And then we got the goggles. And we have this submachine gun that actually looks more like Beachhead submachine gun to me, but any port in a storm. And there's a knife. I got just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff there. So there is that's going to be the ammo clip for the machine gun. There's the knife, and that is the remote control for the RC car. A whole bunch of little teeny tiny things in here. Hopefully I'm not gonna lose anything. Got a pistol and a silencer and another mine. So there's that. I wonder if you could put the mine on the remote control car. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it fits onto it anyway. I mean, you can set it on top of it. Maybe if you had like a little piece of double-sided tape that's just on there like temporarily. I'm sure there's a place to store those mines. We're just gonna figure out what that is. All right, so he's got all kinds of little pegs and things, places to store stuff. So there's a little plug that fits into the RC car, so that's how that fits into his backpack. So there's that. And Firefly himself. So this knife, that goes into his forearm. So there we go. He's got the knife in the forearm, just like the original figure had. Although I think it would probably work better if it was like the other way, because it seems like more natural, like you would grab it that way, right? That's what it seems like to me. But oh well. So there we got the pistol should go in there. And I don't see a place to put the silencer on the holster, but you can always put the silencer onto his submachine gun. So I think that's probably how that's intended to go. You can put either or. So let's go ahead and real quick put these weapons in his hands. So we see what the weapons look like in his hands. And it looks like the trigger guard for mine broke. So that's nice. So got a slightly too delicate trigger guard there, unfortunately. But there's what he looks like holding the sidearm. Let's go ahead and put the silencer on there. Seems like a tight fit. But there's that. Okay. Let's pull that off. Came off a lot easier than it went on. I wonder if it, like, maybe the barrel or the inside of the suppressor had a little bit of flash on it that got knocked loose. So there's that. And we'll go ahead and take the knife and we'll put it in his left hand. Make sure I got the blade facing the right way. There we go. So there's what that looks like. Holds onto that pretty well, I think. All right, so we'll put that back into its sheath. I'm a little worried. It does seem like a little flimsy there. So I'm a little worried that the knife might get bent out of shape just because it sticks out from the elbow as much as it does. So let's go ahead and put the pistol back into its holster. And let's move on to this. Now, wait a minute. Okay, I see what I'm doing. Okay. Sorry, I got a little confused. So let's put the submachine gun into his hand. So there's what he looks like with that. It is a pretty small little submachine gun, but this guy's a saboteur, so he doesn't really need anything too big. That's pretty good for me. It'll look a little longer also when we put the silencer on it. So let's go ahead and do that. And it does seem like the silencer goes onto there a little more loosely than it did the pistol. So I don't know if you'd necessarily want to store it that way because it just comes off really easily. So maybe you could glue it or something, but I don't know if that plastic takes glue very well. Also, it would have been nice if they had made this more of an olive green like the original one was. But, you know, it's still pretty cool for what it is. Let's go ahead and put the backpack on him. I have no idea where to put these mines. Like, I would think there would be like some kind of bespoke area to put the mines, but there doesn't seem to be. And I would think there would be some kind of bespoke area to put the silencer when it's not on the rifle. But I don't see one for that either. And like I said, it's not going to stay on this rifle very well, at least not on the one that I have. So there he is with the backpack. That's all that put together. And you do have, the mines have little holes on the back. So I guess they fit onto some of these little pegs on the backpack. That must be how you do that. Okay. Because I didn't notice the holes at the bottom. Dopey me. That one doesn't seem to be one to get on there. There we go. I should have coaxed it a little bit. And then the silencer fell off like I was talking about. So, and then the submachine gun should stick by the trigger guard into that peg on his backpack. So that's how all that's supposed to fit together. So my one complaint that I have so far is that I don't have a spot to put the suppressor. And like I said, you can't put it on the holster. Like, you can't put it onto the pistol while it's in the holster because the holster is closed off at the bottom. And you can't leave it on the submachine gun because it's so loose, it's just going to fall off. So a lot of looseness problems with this figure. A lot of problems caused by looseness. So here we go with the remote control for the little car. So I put it in his left hand, and then you can have him kind of pretend like he's controlling it with the right hand. So that looks pretty cool. And then last but not least, we got these funky goggles, which the original Firefly did not come with goggles. But like I was saying about Tunnel Rat, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a new technology, well, newer technology that didn't really exist that much back in the 80s, so much as it did now, or at least wasn't as well known. So it makes sense to me that you'd want to have like some night vision goggles for a guy who's probably going to do a lot of sneaking around at night. And there's no denying that he looks cool while he's wearing them. Hello, Sean Franklin. Welcome to the show. Unfortunately, we're just about wrapping it up, but I'm about to have a Batman episode in a little bit. So make sure you tune in for that. So Firefly turned out to be a pretty cool figure, I think, for the most part. But he does have some glaring problems. And one is that, like, I don't think there's a spot to put this little remote control device. So they really should have figured out a way for him to hold the little remote control device on him somewhere. I do like these little explosive things on his legs, but it seems like that would be a good place to put like a loop to hold that remote control device, or to have like a peg and a hole like they did with the mines. So well, I don't have any Terminator video games. Are you asking me if you have any, or are you telling me you have all of them? So, if you have all of them, that's cool. I hope you like playing them. So, the main Terminator video game I remember playing was, of all things, RoboCop versus Terminator for the Sega Genesis. I did really enjoy that one. So, but I'm also a big RoboCop fan. So, of course I liked that one. So, but yeah, so there we go. That's pretty much it for Firefly. That's about all I can think of to say about him. Is that he's a good figure that could have been a great figure if they made a few minor adjustments to him. If his torso weren't so loose, which is a problem that this figure is already infamous for, and if there were more places to store some of this gear. We need a place to store that silencer, and we need a place to store this remote control. There's no place to store those on the figure, so that's unfortunate. I've seen where some guy had kind of tucked it into the front here, and it does seem like the it's kind of loose. You can fit it in there, so I guess that's one way to do that. But I still don't know what to do with this silencer. Unless I want to have him holding the pistol all the time, because it'll stay on the pistol, but it won't stay on the submachine gun. Any of you out there who have this figure, did you have that same problem as me? Is that just me? Let me know in the comments. I would appreciate it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about Firefly in the comments. What are some ways that you might improve this figure? What are some things that you like about this figure? I know people have been ripping on some of the problems with it, but there's a lot of really cool stuff about him too. I'm still pretty happy with this figure. I just think it could have been better. I wish it had been better in those regards that I pointed out, but it's not bad. It's still a good figure. So that's pretty much it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye. And what are you doing? Come on.